This is not a storm. Not yet. Nothing is exploding. Nothing is collapsing. And that's the mistake people always make. Because the most dangerous storms on Earth don't begin with chaos. They begin with order. This is a supercell and before it creates tornadoes, hail, or destruction, it becomes something else entirely. A system. One that decides what survives the atmosphere today and what doesn't. Weather usually behaves in layers. Warm air rises, cold air sinks. Wind moves, and eventually balance returns. Most storms die right here. They collapse under their own weight. They choke on their own rain. They destroy themselves from the inside. A supercell survives because something breaks that symmetry. High above the ground, wind moves faster and changes direction. Near the surface, air wants to rise. Above it, the air wants to tear away. This difference matters more than heat or moisture. It creates shear, an invisible tension stretched vertically through the sky. Shear doesn't create chaos. It creates structure. As warm air pushes upward, the wind doesn't let it rise straight. It tilts it, stretches it, twists it gently. Not enough to destroy it, just enough to keep it alive. This is when a storm stops being a reaction and starts becoming a system. The atmosphere is no longer acting as one. It's divided. And division is how supercells are born. Inside most storms, rising air and falling rain collide. The updraft suffocates. The storm collapses. And the cycle ends. A supercell avoids this by doing something rare. It separates its flows. Rising air is pulled away from falling rain. not randomly, deliberately. The updraft begins to rotate, slowly at first. Kilometers wide, almost invisible. This rotation isn't violence. It's organization. The storm builds a mesocyclone. Air enters, energy redistributes. Waste is expelled elsewhere. This is why supercells last for hours. They don't fight gravity, they manage it. Rain falls away from the updraft. Hail is lifted, dropped, lifted again, growing layer by layer. Lightning separates charge with precision, not randomness. Every part of the storm has a role. Intake, circulation, exhaust. Nothing here is out of control. This is a self-sustaining atmospheric machine, feeding on instability, stabilizing itself just enough to survive. And once a storm reaches this stage, the outcome is no longer immediate. But it is no longer optional. Once a supercell stabilizes itself, it doesn't calm down. It gets productive. Inside the cloud, the storm becomes a set of factories, each solving a different problem, created by gravity, charge, and pressure. Take hail. Hail isn't frozen rain. It's a logistics problem. Ice forms high in the storm, where temperatures are brutal. Gravity pulls it down. But the updraft refuses to let it go. So the ice is lifted, dropped, lifted again. Each pass adds a new layer. Not randomly, but because the storm is strong enough to keep recycling it. Bigger hail doesn't mean the storm is angry. It means the system is efficient. Lightning balances charge. It doesn't lash out. Charge separates. Pressure builds. Lightning is not the storm lashing out. It's the storm balancing its internal books. Even the rain is strategic. Instead of collapsing the updraft, precipitation is pushed aside, wrapped around the core, expelled where it does the least damage. What looks violent from the ground is, inside the cloud, controlled output. This isn't escalation. It's endurance. This is where most stories skip ahead. To funnels, to destruction, to tornadoes. But tornadoes are not the goal of a supercell. They are the exception. Fewer than 1 in 3 supercells ever produce a tornado. That's because a tornado doesn't mean the storm is stronger. It means the system is losing balance. They don't prove strength. Rotation compresses. Organization collapses inward. This is not mastery. This is strain. Tornadoes burn through imbalance fast. And then they die. The supercell often survives longer than the tornado it created. The most dangerous moment isn't when the tornado appears. It's when the storm learned how to organize itself hours earlier. When people say a storm came out of nowhere, they're not wrong. It just didn't come from where we were looking. Radar doesn't see storms. It sees motion. Long before damage, the system has already decided. The sky doesn't surprise us. Our perception does. Every supercell ends the same way. Not with destruction, but with exhaustion. The engine loses its separation. Rotation slows. And the sky forgets what it was doing. The danger was never the tornado. It was the moment the atmosphere learned how to organize itself. A supercell is not chaos. It is order briefly allowed. In a sky that usually refuses it.